Good morning and welcome to the Canmore Local Assessment Review Board hearing. We are here today to review the complaint and subsequent evidence as filed for tax roll number 16732, municipal address 175A Morris. Is that what you're expecting? Yes. Okay. I will start by introducing the panel and then ask the parties to introduce themselves. After that, I will explain our standard hearing procedure and ask for comments in that regard. My name is Esme Comfort, and I am the presiding officer chair appointed to this panel. The other panel members with me today are
Martin Buckley.
and
Andrea Williams.
does anyone have any objection to the panel as constituted? No. Okay. Seeing none, I'll move on. I'm now going to have the parties introduce themselves, starting with the complainant. Would you please state for the record your name, organization, if any, and your role in the hearing? Please indicate whether you are the property owner under complaint. Yes, please.
My name is Sandra Van Stolk. That's two words, capital V-A-N, capital S-T-O-L-K. I live at 175A Morris in Canmore, and I am the owner and have always been the owner of this property.
Thank you very much. Now to the respondent's representative.
My name is Kelly Larson. I'm with Equitable Assessment Group, the assessor for the town of Canmore.
Thank you. So you know, the LARB's standard practice is to have the complainant present all of their evidence first, followed by questions from the respondent, and then the panel. Next, the respondent presents their evidence, followed once again by questions from the complainant, and then the panel. The complainant will then have an opportunity for rebuttal. Finally, both parties have an opportunity to present their final argument and summarize their evidence for the panel, with the complainant presenting first. If anyone needs a break or if a problem comes up, please let the panel know as soon as possible, and we can address those things as we go. Are there any questions regarding the procedure today, or is everyone satisfied with the process as I laid it out? Yeah? Okay. I see both parties have exchanged disclosure evidence before the hearing. To save time, I propose we mark all documents for the record now. We've actually done that in advance because there aren't a great number of documents. So just so you know that if you want to refer to something, the first piece, which is the complaint form and a handwritten letter with the 2019 assessment notice and the site information off the original plan for the building of the unit. And it constitutes 5 pages. We've labeled C1A. Next, there is a letter from Ms. Van Stolk, which is 1 page or 1 document, 2 pages, which we labeled C1B. And then from the respondent, we have a total of 12 pages, including the cover, which we labeled R1. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So then, are there any other preliminary issues for the panel to address? No? Okay. All right, Ms. Van Stolk, we're ready to hear your evidence if you are set to go ahead.
Thank you for this opportunity. Madam Chair, members of the panel. The first thing I'd like to do is clarify the property located at 175A Morris, Lot 62, Block 8, and it's listed as Plan 9912490. Interestingly, my personal copy of the plan provided by Riverdale Homes is listed as 9610638. So any measurements that I have quoted, I have taken from my plan. I think it bears a lot of similarity, but I have never seen the plan mentioned here.
We did look at that before, because that
Thank
was
you.
also noticed by panel members. And that plan that you're showing there is prior to subdivision. I'm looking to the clerk for confirmation. Yeah. So once the property was subdivided into A and B, the number of the plan changed. So that's where the discrepancy lays. And the measurements that are on your property residential ratepayer report are the ones that are correct. And they also are congruent with the numbers that you cited, so we don't have an issue there.
Thank you. What I'd like to start with is my May 2019 annual assessment notice valued my property at $925,400, which I felt was too high. And I'd like to start off by acquainting you with the street I live on, which is named Morris. Morris is a hillside road. It's 0.5 kilometers in length. It's located in the Homesteads in the district, the Homestead district of South Canmore. It's bounded at the top by McNeil. It's bounded at the bottom by Van Horn. Morris has 3 visually distinct segments, and that's how we identify where we live. There is Upper Morris, Middle Morris, which is a cul-de-sac, and Lower Morris. In total, on Morris, there are 61 residents, of which 25 are duplex and 11 are single. Within that group, there are 3 visually distinct residential styles. The first group consists of 46 residents. That's 21 duplex and 4 single. They are side by side. They're similar color, they're similar style, and they were constructed by I say one developer, but I think it was a group of 3 developers who worked together, and they were constructed between 96 and 99. The second group of 8 residents, which is 4 duplex, is the group where I live. These are side by side. They're more or less of similar size. In the beginning, they were similar color. They've remained similar style, and they were constructed by Riverdale between 99 and 2000. So the number 1 group was constructed first, the 46 residents, then the number 2 group, which is the 8 residents. Number 3 are 7 residents. They're single. They were built by various builders. 5 of these make up the total of Middle Morris, which is the cul-de-sac, and 2 are located on Lower Morris. These residences are unique. They have no visual similarities to each other, and they appear to be of superior size and quality to the other 54 residences on Morris. And I anticipate that those qualities would be reflected in their tax assessments. From there, I will pinpoint my residence, the one we're talking about, which is 175A, and that specifically belongs to Category 2, which are 2 duplexes built by Riverdale Homes. Again, as far as the measurements, my plan indicates that the main level is 880 square feet, the upper level is 833 square feet, and the lower level is 840 square feet. And here I point out a major difference in that my lower level is undeveloped. On the lower level, there's the usual electric box, the furnace, the water heaters, and there are outlets for the washer, the dryer, which is gas, a small chest freezer, and there are 5 overhead lights with switches. On build, the infrastructure for the in-floor heating was included, but it was not connected to the heat source. I have connected it to the heat source, and the in-floor heating is operational. The only update or reno on 175A is a metal roof, which was completed this July of 2019. My residence, 175A, is typical and different from the other single duplexes, from the other 7 duplexes to which I'm comparing myself, in that it is the only one of those 4 duplex units, that's 8 residents, that has a single driveway. It is the only one which has a single car garage. My vehicle is a Toyota Corolla. It is not a large garage, and there is 4 inches between the back door and the back of between the garage door and the back of my car. Also, to my knowledge, it is the only residence, and I know this for certain, of those 4 duplexes where there is no development on the lower level. I have been in all of them except 173A. And for the above reasons, I feel my assessment is too high. In comparison, I would like to compare them to I'd like to compare the 4 duplexes, which are 8 residents. The first one, at the top of, as the road goes down, is 169A. It's been assessed at $1,380,000, essentially. And I use the phrase completely developed at build. And what I mean by that is that all 3 levels of that duplex were developed when it was built. In the meantime, it was completely gutted, all 3 levels, back to the 2x4s. Within the past years, it has been vacant for more than a year, and it has a listing price of $1.475 million. It remains unsold. The second is 169B. It has been assessed at $1,110,300. It too was completely developed at build. It has been renovated by the current owners prior to their occupancy, which I would guess would be about 3 or 4 years ago. It has been, actually the inside has been changed somewhat, renovated somewhat, and it suits their needs. The next duplex is 171A and 171B. 171A was assessed at $1,035,606. It was also completely developed at build. I was in these places, so I know what was in them. And I have no information about the renovation or updates in that building. 171B has been assessed at 999,700. It too was completely developed at build, and I have no information on the reno or updates. 173A is the only one of the duplexes that I have not been in. It is assessed at 968,800. The lower level was undeveloped at build. Within the past 2 to 3 years, there has been what they referred to as some development on the lower level, and I presume the town issued a development permit which defines what some is, and I am assuming that maybe there has been a new tax assessment related to this development. I find some to be an ambiguous term for me. Then there's 173B. It's been assessed at 995,400. It was completely developed at build. This is right next door to me, and I am aware that there have been no renos or updates by the 3 successive owners. 175B, which is attached to me, was assessed at 1,020,900. It was completely developed at build. The renos include the countertops, the metal roof, of which I share, which was completed in July 2019. I would, again, I think, like to summarize that my residence at 175A is atypical to the other 7 residences, of which it's similar, in that it is the only residence of those duplexes that has a single driveway, a single car garage, and to my knowledge, it is the only one with no development in the lower level. Again, it's atypical on Morris because 175A is the only residence on all of Morris that has a single driveway. It's the only residence on all of Morris that has a single car garage. And to my knowledge, it is the only residence on the whole of Morris that has no development on the lower level. And this is approximately 30% of the total living area, which is undeveloped. And that is the extent.
You're concluded.
I am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Not at all. I think I have a couple of questions, but I'll ask my colleagues first if they have any questions for you.
Certainly.
Oh, sorry. Is it respondent first?
Oh, I do not
You-
I don't have any questions for her.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any questions, Andrea?
I do have a couple. Just the phrase, just a clarifying point really, you're saying developed at build. What does that mean to you in terms of the basements? I just want to make sure we're all looking at the same
developed
thing.
at build,
Yep.
for, that's my term.
Yep.
And what that means is, to me, is that it was developed when it was built. So when the place was put up, before the original residents took possession or occupancy, all levels were complete.
Right, and so specifically, do you mean flooring? Do you mean walls? Do you?
I mean
That's what
everything.
okay.
Flooring, walls, electricity, water, paint, carpet, everything.
Okay, and so what is the, can you describe your lower level then?
My lower level?
Yeah.
It's pretty well as described here. It's the concrete floor.
Concrete?
It is the 2x4s. There is the only wall partition is on the stairs.
Okay.
There is a wall at this, there's the party wall, and then there is a wall on the staircase.
Okay.
And there's a banister on the staircase. And as I say, it is totally undeveloped, and that's why the inclusion of the light switches surprised me.
Right.
I would have expected strings the way they left it undeveloped. The downstairs doorbell is there, but it was never connected.
Right.
Nothing was connected
Right.
downstairs.
And so do you have plumbing and you have electrical down there?
There, yes, for the electric lights.
Yeah.
It has the fuse box that you
Okay.
have, and it has the, which they put in all houses, I think now, the beginnings of, it shows you where the toilet's going to be.
Right, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Just one other question from me, and just in respect of the 173A
Yes.
Morris, and within the past 2 to 3 years, some development of the lower level. So could you just clarify where that term came from?
Some,
Yeah.
the person who lives there
Right.
is the original owner, and he said to me, he used two terms. One was some,
Okay.
and the other one was a room.
Right.
Now, knowing the plan, I have difficulty to vision what that room would be. For example, if you put a bedroom there, it would make sense to also put the bathroom there,
Mhm.
because it's a long way up. If you put, it wouldn't make sense just to put a bathroom there. For what purpose?
Mhm.
Again, hopefully the town has a building permit that can say what this one room is. Again, he used the two terms, some or a room. And I can only say from observing the trades that were there and for the length of time, I wondered what a room or some was also,
Right.
because there was a total spectrum of trades.
Okay. Those are all the questions I had. Thank you.
Thank you.
Martin?
Thank you. I just want to follow up on Ms. Williams' questions about your definition of development.
Uh-huh.
You'd mentioned 2x4s, so is the basement framed with exposed 2x4s?
Yes,
Is it,
exposed 2x4s.
so there's no insulation or vapor barrier or drywall, just the 2x4s?
There is some insulation on the outside wall, but
Against the dirt?
against the concrete.
Yeah, and then it's got dirt on the other side that it's been
Yeah.
backfilled. So it's a rigid foam insulation sort of thing?
It's fiberglass,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. The roof, the ceiling, sorry, is exposed floor joists?
It's exposed to above, yes.
Okay,
Exposed.
thank you. Thank
You're
you on that.
welcome.
Are you the original owner?
I am.
Okay. Have you seen noticeable appreciation in the value of your property through the years?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And you indicated there's some lots that, or some units that are for sale and been for sale for some time. You mentioned the one at 1.4 million. Have you noticed any recent sales in that area and what the properties are sold for?
Interestingly, that house has been on the market for years. It's frankly, it's very much overpriced, and there aren't people lining up to see it. Of those 8 residences, of which I am one, 3 are still the original owners. The others turned over a number of years ago.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's it for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a couple of questions, sorry. So you note that there was in-floor heating that was not connected, but you had it connected.
Mm-hmm.
What year did you do that? Or ballpark, was it before you moved in, or?
Now, I have owned this, I'm the original owner since 1999. I only came full-time about 10 years ago.
Okay.
And until that time, it was always vacant. I have never been in Canmore for Christmas for 20 years. And I lived in the country west of Edmonton, so I didn't come very often. I'm sorry, Esme, I forgot to look up when I had that heat.
It doesn't really matter. What
Yeah.
I wanted to know was, would the prior assessments have taken that upgrade into account? The in-floor heating being connected?
I have no idea if they did or not. I mean, it was all there. It just wasn't connected to the heat source. You know, they bring in sort of a
Yeah.
panel and put it up on the wall.
But it is now?
But it is now.
Okay.
But it was, I would say in the time that I didn't actually live there, I've lived there for just over 10 years, you know, I don't think it was connected because there was, I live cold. There was forced air coming down from the pipes, which you can see all the pipes. I would have to look that up.
Oh, okay.
To say if it was when it was connected.
But possibly within the last 10 years?
Yes.
Okay, that just sort of
Yeah.
give me an idea. Now, what else did I have? So you didn't suggest an amount that you wanted the assessment lowered to. Do you have some idea of that?
I have absolutely no idea. And I'm here to ask these questions and also to ask sort of how often are homes assessed? Like nobody has sent me anything through the mail or no one has ever knocked on the door to say, we'd like to see the inside of your house. I have no idea.
Okay, so
I just
took a course about this
Good.
last year, but, so I may look to the clerk.
I suspect Kelly may be able to offer some.
Kelly could probably tell us. I believe assessments are done yearly, and then you can, on your assessment notice, there's actually a lot of detail about how the
Yes.
assessment process works.
Mhm.
And you are encouraged to contact the assessor if you think that there's a problem. And I believe that you probably had a phone call with Ms. Larson?
I called Ms. Larson. She was very helpful, and she suggested that I complete the forms. And I'll be very honest with you. I didn't. Taxes always go up. I have never known taxes to go down. But it was when it hit this 900,000+ that I said to myself, would I pay 900,000+ for this residence? And absolutely not. So I thought, now's time to look at it. A lot of people said, well, why didn't you look at it a long time ago? Well, it was the 900,000 figure that sort of, I thought, no, this isn't right.
Okay, so yeah, my husband has an expression when prices go up for things, and he says, well, that's more than I make in a week, so I don't understand it. It's been our words to live by in our household. And the last thing I had was, and you do realize that this probably won't be welcome news, but your upgrade to with your metal roof, which is a substantial renovation and improvement, is not included on this assessment?
I do.
Okay. So you may be in for a bit of sticker shock next year as
Well,
well.
I think I've been very straightforward.
Yes, absolutely.
In me telling you that I have a metal roof.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
Most
And,
of the residents who come down the street just feel it was a replacement roof
oh, okay.
rather than a metal roof.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, not everyone, as you note, I think somewhere, gets a development permit for work they may be doing inside the home.
Mhm.
So to that point, if people want to contest an assessment, they will invite the assessor in.
Mhm.
And actually, I don't know, Ms. Larson, what are the owner's rights in terms of inspection of the premises? If you want to confirm something that the owner is
Their
telling
right
you.
is to ask me to come?
No, you're right as an assessor to go into the residence and verify what that person's telling you.
With, in the MGA, I believe, it would do notification of a reasonable time. Usually a door
All the-
knocker is left, and if something happens that we need to get in a phone call, and then we set up an appointment. Of course, refusal to allow access then means that the information on appeal, you know.
Yeah.
But she's never done that, so.
No, but it's sort of the standard stuff,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
In response, when I spoke with Kelly, I did invite her
Mhm.
in. I did invite her to come to visit Morris, and I thought for a moment she was going to come, but our communication was cut off because Kelly was in the car,
Oh.
and suddenly
Click.
I couldn't hear.
Okay. Okay, I think that's all I have, actually. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Okay. Now I've lost track. Let's see, so we've had the complainant's evidence, and, oh, do you have any questions for the respondent? Or you have to do your presentation first, right?
Pardon me?
You're doing your presentation next,
First,
yeah.
yes. Okay, so I'm just going to start off here drawing you to page 2 of my, which is R1. I show on there figure A, and it indicates that those are all of the homes that are in comparison. So on the top is 169A, then working down 169B, 171A, 171B. You can see the red dot on the bottom of the picture. The complainant's property is 175A, which is on the right-hand side of that duplex. You can see the single-car garage door, the narrow driveway. Her current assessment is $925,400, and she lists all the properties that she's comparing to, starting at the top, 169AB, 171AB, 178-3B, and 175B, which is her neighbor to the left of her. She's different in the regards of her no development in her basement and the smaller garage, but I believe that's taken care of in the assessment, and we'll just go through that as we come here. So Appendix A has her actual assessment detail, and you can see it indicates the home was built, if you follow from the top to the bottom. The top page does a summary of legal land description, square footage, then you have your land value, then it follows down again to the improvements. So we have duplex housing, 1,736 square feet. Now that is the main level and upper and basement. The basement finish is not assessed in that square footage, that's why it's only 1,736. It's 1999 built, 2-story and basement is how it's referred to.
Sorry, Kelly, would you just repeat that about the 1736 and the reference to the basement?
So the 1736 is the main and basement, which is the main level, 880 square feet.
Yep.
Now you add to that the 855 square feet on the upper, which is also the numbers that the appellant had stated. And the basement area that's not developed is 840 square feet. So when we just add the 880 to the 855, we get the it's actually 1,735, but during a conversion process, we have 1,736. And you can see assessed additive values to this are the forced hot air furnace, which you discussed as our heating, and then also the heating for the slab heat in the basement. And then below that also is a bathroom on the main level, so it's a kitchen sink and a half bath, 3 fixtures. We have 6 fixtures on the upper level and a fireplace. Then the garage at 273 square feet, undoubtedly, a smaller size of a garage, but a little bit bigger than a parkade type of a garage. Lined and insulated, obviously, for standards. Concrete floor and electrical in it. There's no heat in it assessed to it. There is, and as you can see, there's no basement finish, any of that assessed to the subject property. Now, going through on the group, we could probably start off, and I believe I tried to keep them in order. So we go from on the Appendix B, the subject property is at the top. Now it shows all the information I just told you without the complete detail. And then the next property below it is 173A Morris, which is just to the, you can see by the pictures. It is a little bit larger than her property. It has a garage assessed to it as well, which is larger. If you see other improvements, which is in that description on the right-hand column, it's 16,800. So the garage is assessed at roughly 3,500 more in assessment than her property. And this is the one that was in question with the lower level finish, and it does have 250 square feet assessed to it of lower level finish. And then below that, we have 173B Morris, which is the one beside this 173A, and it has 870 square feet of lower level finish assessed to it. Its garage, under other improvements on that column as well, is 15,600. So again, the garage is assessed more than the subject property, and the lower level finish is taken into account. The next one below that is 171B. It has 831 square feet of lower level finish, and again, a garage with a higher value than hers, noting that it's larger. 171A Morris, again, has 831 square feet of lower level finish, and under other improvements has 16,100 square feet, or 16,100 in assessed value, also more than what the appellant's is, or complainant's, sorry. And then 169B, we have also assessed, this one is 826 square feet of lower level finish. It does have a condition rating under the first column by the picture called a CDU, and it's Condition, Desirability, and Utility Rating. It's been upgraded to a good, indicating that there has been renovations to this property. And again, the garage is assessed higher than hers. In all of these, under their assessments, which is the total under each one of them, the appellant's is 925,400. The rest are at least 43,000 is the closest to her, and that's the one that's 250 square feet of lower level finish. So the difference between them, I think, has been accounted for in the fact that if her basement were developed, she would probably be in the range of, if it was at 870 square feet, closer to the 980,000 in assessment, which is why she's at 925 and they're all at 968, 995, 999, and 1 million. And then, of course, the one with renovations is at 1.1. There is another page with some more comparables. And again, it has the subject property, followed by 175B and 169A. 175B is the neighboring property. We do have 840 square feet of lower level finish assessed there. The garage, we have an incorrect size on it because it is showing to be a little less than hers, and it shouldn't be. It should be higher. So there is a difference there. That one should be changed. Excuse me. But that's on that particular property that needs a correction. The renovations to the interior of that one will be accounted for next year. And the roof, as far as that goes, because these are built in 1999 and we're in 20 years later, these items, although long-lived, should be expected to have been replaced at this time, keeping their condition and desirability and utility rating average. So it's something that average could happen to these properties. If it's not done, we would look at lowering that desirability and utility rating for something that needs to be replaced. So the next property is at 169A Morris, and that one has a developed lower level finish of 826 square feet. No permit was taken on that one. That is the one, if I'm not mistaken, yes, is indicated up for sale at $1.4 million. It should obviously have flagged it to have a look at it because she says that it has had some renovations to it. And the 1.4 million, I don't believe is an actual valid indicator because it's been sitting on the market for such a long time, but it's definitely something we have to look at, as it's at 1.038, and the only other one that we've indicated with thorough renovation is at 1.11. So I would hazard to guess that the last two on the last page of assessment comparables have some changes that need to happen to them, but they are in effect 80,000 in assessment more than the subject property. We do have 3 sales in the Morris area of smaller duplex type properties that indicated that the assessed value is incorrect in comparison to the sales. Now, on Appendix C, the subject property again is listed on the top of the page. The form breaks down along it, you know, what could happen to the property. It starts off with the adjusted sale price at the top and then minusing and adding in and out the differences. But in essence, they all are roughly, the first two are roughly 400 square feet or just under 400 square feet less than the subject property. The third property is 200, just under 200 square feet smaller than the subject property. The first comparable, which sold for $790,000, it is, like I say, roughly just under 400 square feet smaller. It does have some lower level finish assessed to it, roughly 646 square feet. But as I say, it's smaller, so that's where the difference is on that one. And that is also a sale from 2016 at $790. Price adjusted is $877. The property, the second comparable sale, sold in 2017 for $825. That's the actual sale price, not adjusted. Adjusted is at $865. And that one had no basement finish or lower level finish assessed to it. And it is 1,366 square foot home in an average condition, roughly 3 years older. I then look at the third comparable, which was from 2015. Price adjusted, that's 821 in sale price. It's smaller and only has 250 square feet of lower level finish assessed to it as well. So based on those three comparables, the value comes out at 929,467. You can see it says an average value according to the top, those three comparables. But those are really the only duplex sales I have on Morris. It's my position that I believe that the valuation of Nunn 25 in comparison to the other assessments and with the sales comparables be upheld.
Are you concluded then?
Yes.
Does the panel have any questions for Ms. Larson? Oh, sorry, you go first. Sorry, could you speak at the mic? This is where you get to do your dance.
The pictures have been very helpful. And thank you for clarifying that mine is, the red balloon is on 175B. I'm 175A, which again has the single car garage, the single driveway.
Yep.
And is smaller. In some of the comparables, I think it was a comparable, you mentioned unfinished lower level. And I guess with these unfinished lower levels, my question is, how often do people take out permits? And how often does someone go by and check them against the permit?
It's a question for Ms. Larson.
I don't know the exact percentage on people that take out permits. Those that do take out permits, we do check in the year that they're taken out or their occupancy is completed. There's an occupancy certificate that's issued when the construction is complete. But at the end of the year, even if it's not complete, there should be an assessment placed for the construction to date as December 31st. And then in a cycle, getting back to the how assessment are inspected, if it's not done on a annual or a permit, then it's done on a cycle. And it's not a regulation, but it's a rule of thumb that at least 20% of the municipality in the province is looked at over like the 5-year period. So in 5 years, you would have 100% looked at everything. Again, you knock on a door. If a basement's developed, you may ask about renovations and leave a door knocker. And then you're on self-reporting. You know, you can't get into every property, obviously. Not everyone's going to maybe allow you or whatever, but there's an assumption that certain things are done too, you know, so.
Then I would ask Kelly, with regard to...
Sorry, can you move into the microphone?
Oh.
Yeah.
I'd ask Kelly, with regard to 173B, have they actually seen a room or some development?
So 173B would have been, the 250 square feet in assessment would have come from a permit square footage. I don't have a copy of the permit for that one, but I do have 250 square feet assessed there as lower level finish.
Is that
Sorry,
173A or B, sorry?
173A.
Oh, 173A, yeah,
Right,
sorry.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, so 173A, we do have assessed 250 square feet. That would have come from, at that same time, if there was a permit taking, I'm assuming 3 years ago, or more, I'm not sure. You would go to a property when it has a permit, leave a card, get a response, hope for a response, and go by what was on the permit. And, sorry, the certificate of occupancy.
What was, I guess my question, and maybe it's a hard one to answer, but was 173A assessed, inspected after that the sum or a room was developed?
I would have to say so, because the 250 square feet is assessed there where there was none before. So I would have to pull the permit to show you exactly.
I guess that was my question. Was it actually by a permit, or was it assessed? Because I appreciate the assessor can't get to every rental that's done in this town.
Well, technically you do, if there's a permit, you do get to them all, or have got the information from the permit and definitely from the occupancy, because an officer from the town has been there, signed off on, said it's complete. So and any alterations are then edited. So even if you don't visually see it because of whatever circumstance you can't get into it, or they don't, get back to you, the information is on the permit.
Okay. That's all I can.
You may find that in finishing some of the basements, and I'm not sure this is a question for the development department of the town, that they don't need a development permit. If they're not doing structural renovations, if they're not doing plumbing or electrical changes, they could possibly add a room to their basement without having need of a permit. But again, that's a question that you could ask the town's planning and development people.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay, so now it's the panel's turn to ask any questions of the respondent.
Ms. Larson, I didn't see in the evidence any history of the assessment of the subject property. Was there an increase from previous years on this property?
There was an increase last year. I did not put that on there. Because I thought that we were talking with comparison, but I don't have that exact amount.
Okay, thank you. But it has changed year to year. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This last discussion we had was interesting. For the purposes of assessment, what do you view as development? Like putting up drywall, putting in insulation, anything that adds value?
Well, for example, in a basement, say, we can do it partially developed, we can do it fully developed. So a fully developed basement, these are listed as lower level finish, which means the square footage is put in as fully completed. That's your walls, your ceiling, your light fixtures, flooring, rooms, it's all done. Baseboards. But we can do partially finished. For example, if she had drywall and paint and roof, or drop ceiling or ceiling put in, but no flooring, we can adjust for no flooring and say it's all developed except for the flooring. We can remove that. So it's to whatever extent it is. Develop doesn't necessarily mean full. It can be partial, full, to whatever extent.
Okay, so 2x4s with fiberglass insulation and vapor barrier and drywall, depending on what degree it's at. If it didn't have drywall but it had insulation and vapor barrier.
We would consider the insulation and vapor barrier in a perimeter wall as an undeveloped.
Okay, thank you. One last question. I missed it. I didn't jump on it quick enough. Can I take you back to Appendix C?
Yes.
And in particular, I have 129 Morris.
Yes.
Did you indicate that of the assessed value that was 800 and something square feet of consideration for the basement, or did I?
Lower level finish is 646 square feet.
Okay, so looking at it, it's, the lower level is probably the larger part of the building?
Pardon me? I didn't
Well,
understand.
I'm looking at the picture of the building,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe I'm just looking at the perspective of the building, and should be having a full view of it. 646 lower level, the upper level will be the remaining roughly 700 square feet?
No, the building size is 1355. That is the main level and upper only.
Okay,
So when you see the building size in there, that's your footprint and that's your, everything above ground technically, is that square footage of 1355. 664, I verbally gave that to you as lower level finish. It doesn't come up under our basement finish in these reports. That's why I added it in here separately for everybody. I should have indicated that.
okay, so the building size of 1355 doesn't include the 646.
No, it's 1,355 square foot living area above ground. Living area below ground is the 646 square feet. And then the following one, again, 1,366 square feet above ground and has no lower level finish or basement finish. And the one below that is 1,589 square feet above ground on 2 levels, again, the same as her property, with 250 square feet of lower level finish.
Okay, so we'll go to 145 then. So you say 1,589 square feet on the
Main and upper.
And then how much on the lower floor, or the basement area?
The basement finished area is 250 square feet.
So the assessed value of 918,600 includes,
No, the assessed value for that property is 827,800. That's
Okay.
the total there.
yeah,
The 918,600 is contemplating the subject's property with all of those adjustments. So we start off at the very top column, 821 is an adjusted sales price. The assessment, we take that sale price and then we start minusing off. So there's a deficiency that this one on 145 Morris has more plumbing than the subject property, so we take off 17,300. We follow down, each has one fireplace, so no adjustment there. Next one is the heat. Now, this one doesn't have the in-floor heating, so the difference they add to that sale price is 15,066. That's that lower level, or the in-floor heating that the subject property has. We don't adjust for AC or basement finish. We don't have the depreciation, yes, we do have a little more depreciation on the subject property. Physical depreciation, this one is 2 years older, so it has a different, it's added onto this one, on subject property. The main building, the difference in the main building structures is, hers is negative by 4,000 or 3,976. The other improvement, her garage is added on. This one is done as a basement garage. And the land value, this one is smaller. It's 3,800 square feet, or hers is 3,200, this is 38. And it shows the differences there. And then your totals, it spits out all of the changes in comparison to the other one and brings it out to 918,600. So each one of the dark estimated values, there's 3 of them, using that one sale only with the subject property, that's the estimate of what the subject property's value would be. And then, of course, with the average, it becomes 929,467, which is in line with the 925,400 we have assessed.
okay. Thank you.
I have no questions, thank you.
Nor I. So, the complainant at this point can present rebuttal evidence? Sorry, you can present rebuttal evidence if you have some? Rebuttal.
I think I will just rest at what I have said before with the single drive, the single car garage, and absolutely no development in the lower level.
Okay, thank you very
Thank
much. So now I get to thank everyone for their cooperation and helpful presentations. Thank you. At this time, I want to ask the parties if do you feel that you've been heard today and that you feel your evidence has received a fair hearing?
Yes, I do feel I've been heard. I'd like to thank the panel and also to thank Kelly, who was very approachable from the beginning. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, I was
Okay.
heard. Thank you.
I will now declare the hearing closed. No further evidence or submissions may be received by the board. The Municipal Government Act requires a written decision within 30 days and gives the clerk an additional 7 days to issue the decision, which would give us a date of, Madam Clerk, do we know?
October 12th, that's my guess.
We will make every effort, says Ms. Dalrymple, to meet or beat those requirements, and the clerk will forward our decision to you at our earliest opportunity. So while that date is the latest date, you should receive something, you most likely will receive something in advance of that date. I will now ask all parties and attendees to please exit the room via the rear doors.